Hello and welcome to everybody. Today my guest is a legendary MMA coach, the legend who has trained many excellent and amazing MMA fighters. It's Mike Winkeljohn. Can you please put a brief introduction so we can continue?
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Mike Winkeljohn, Coach Wink. They call me Jackson Wink MMA, Albuquerque, Mexico. We have quite a few fighters out here that we've worked with over the years.
Mike, what's your fighting background? I know that you're a fifth degree black belt Kempo, and also I know that you participated in many big competitions before you kicked off your your coaching voyage.
Well, I started off with kickboxing back in the old days when there was no leg kicks, just above the waist, below the pants, the PKA rules back in the old days. Then I started doing leg kicks. I won the ISK middleweight world title, which was a combination, which was kind of a Muay Thai thing with modified rules, with knees and with kicks. And then I won two different Muay Thai world titles. I beat Koban, one of the legends out of Thailand. So have a little bit of experience. Lost to some really good guys. So I some big legend names out there. I didn't quite was able to knock those guys out, but learned a lot along the way. Mostly to be tough. And if I would have known then what I know now that I'm coaching, that would have been different. But everybody says that when they get old, and that's me, the old guy.
Absolutely. So every beginning is super hard. We all know that. We all know it's very hard to kick off with the training process and so on. So how was your beginning? I mean, when you started coaching people, how was it? Was it hard? Was it challenging?
Well, it's hard not to be the fighter anymore. There's no doubt about it. But actually, it wasn't hard at all. I actually loved it. I spent a lot of money traveling, taking guys places. I had a small kickboxing gym, and so on the weekends that's what we do. We jump in the car and go places, start training and fighting. And then I met Greg Jackson, started rolling around with Greg Jackson, trying to figure out what was going on with the ground game. And we started teaching each other. And then he started formulating a team, and those guys started competing at a higher level. And then we joined forces, and we're here today.
Why they call you Coach Wink? That's what I always wanted to know. Why Wink? Is it because of winking or?
Yeah, well, no, a couple of reasons. It's actually my dad always went by Wink. My last name was Winkeljohn, so it was just short. Otherwise, Winkeljohn's a mouthful. It's too much. But it's kind of ironic now. I'm actually blind in one eye because I had a toenail go across my eyeball. So now I only have one eye anyway, and I walk around like this a lot because the light bugs my eye, even though I can't see out of it. So sometimes it looks like I'm winking anyway, so it's kind of ironic.
Yeah. So, you trained many elite athletes. I mean, I know 99% of them, but in my country people don't know such things. So, can you please elaborate the most famous athletes you trained? Can you name them? Can you give some hints and so on?
Sure. Jon Jones. There's no doubt about it. Who I think is pound for pound best fighter ever to walk around in the UFC or any organizations. Jon Jones, Holm, Carlos Condit. They've always been here. Andre Arlovsky's here. Alex Overing was here for a while. Diego Sanchez. The names go on and on as far as guys that have come to the gym we've trained over the years. And a lot of them are homegrown. They've done their whole career here at this place. The John Dotsons are from New Mexico. Holly Holmes from New Mexico. Carlos Condit's from New Mexico. Ray Borg had spent some time here as well from New Mexico. It's Albuquerque, New Mexico is kind of a big hub for fighting. It's kind of like a couple other places in the world. There's not much else to do other than just compete.
One of my big fans believes that Jon Jones is born to rule. What do you think about that? He believes he has the most perfect genetics in the world.
You know what? I don't know about the genetics part, but I think what John has is a mental game. He always finds a way to win. He's a student of the game. He's always learning. He studies. He watches a lot of film. We watch a lot of film together. The other coaches watch an extreme a good amount of film, and sometimes he knows his opponent almost better than his opponent knows himself. He's just smart, and that's what John does. I think it's the mind that sets Jon Jones apart much more than the physical attributes that he has.
About Holly Holm, some of my fans believe that how do you say? Some of my fans believe that Holly Holm is actually the hardest worker who has ever existed in the world of female MMA. Is it true?
She's the hardest what?
Hard working person.
Oh, you that I'd back that up all day long. Holly works out so many times every day. She's the epitome of just physicality. She works out. It was hard because when she first started with me, she was we'd go running, and I basically would just start walking, yelling at her because she couldn't run. But she's turned the corner, and now she just works out harder than anybody in the gym. And people don't want to go running with her. All my athletes don't want to go running with her because she won't stop. She just makes them go and go and go. So she's very, very athletic. So I agree with that statement.
Yeah, awesome. So she's a cardio machine, and I've noticed in her fights that she never gets gassed. So it makes sense, absolutely. Yeah, I've never seen her gassed. Don't know about you, but I watched all of her fights. Never seen her gassed.
Correct. Yep. I don't think she ever has.
All right. I'm studying for web designer and got to praise your Jackson Wink website. I think it's really amazing. It's a good combination of variations, colors, and such other things, and especially the combination of colors is great and such presentations. So I think that's something that makes Jackson Wink better than other gyms. From what I've seen, many have, how to say, average websites. You probably invested a lot of time in making that website, or?
You know what? Actually, my manager, his name is Misha Lyubanov. He's out of Russia, actually. He did the website. I hired Misha many years ago because at that time I know that Greg and I wanted to get a lot of wrestlers in the gym because we've always been a striking school. I've always been a striker, and we thought, well, we're looking around. There's a lot of great fighters coming out of that part of the world, whether it be Dagestan or whatever the case is. And so I needed somebody who spoke Russian so we could attract those people, make them feel comfortable. And it helped us because it made our wrestling go to a higher level. So it helped out quite a bit. And having Misha do that, he's also a genius when it comes to websites and a lot of video production. So I picked the right guy, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I got to praise the choice is amazing. I mean, even at my IT school, I showed the website, and my professor said it's one of the best websites he has ever seen in the world of MMA. So, got to
now, Misha, to tell me that, did he call you ahead of time?
You can tell him that.
No. Did he call you to say that? I'm making a joke because he always tells me how good he is, and I always tell him he's not that good. So I was curious if he called you, so you were trying to influence me.
No, I don't know, Misha. I'm just saying what I've seen from my aspect. That's what I'm saying. That's what my professor said.
I'm real happy you like it. That makes me feel good.
Yeah. How do you motivate fighters before the match and between the rounds? How do you make a difference between different motivations?
Well, some fighters are different. You know, some fighters, they need to be yelled at. Some fighters, it just needs to be logic. Some fighters, it's bring out the emotion in them that's important. So you get to know your fighters. You know what inspires them. Some of the fighters are inspired by their children. Some fighters are inspired by maybe their mom or their dad. Some fighters is just you have to yell at them and tell them not to be such get some balls and don't be such a sissy, whatever the case is. So there's different fighters, there's different ways, and you have to know your fighter. It's really hard to go in cold and not know a fighter and corner him properly because you have to find out what makes him tick. You have to know the individual.
What does Jackson Wink offers that other gyms don't offer?
You know what? When I opened up the big gym here, I thought I wanted to be a one-stop shop where you don't have to drive across town to do some jiu-jitsu grappling. You don't have to drive over here and do some wrestling. You don't have to drive over here and do some kickboxing. You come here, you can actually live and train at the facility, and we have all of it right in one place. So yeah, you just get inside here with everybody else, and a who's list above the fighters, and so you swim with the sharks. It only makes you better because we learn from each other. I think it's our environment. What Greg and I have brought is the underlying rule is you have to help others. So if you come in and if I see somebody that's a great wrestler helping somebody that's just a great grappler but doesn't have the takedowns and vice versa, then those guys are the kind of guys I want on the team. If I have a great striker that wants to help out a wrestler, he's the kind of guy I want to have on the team. If somebody comes in the door and they think they're good and they want everybody to just pay attention to them, I tell them there's a door, they might as well leave because they're not part of the team. It's about a team concept, helping each other. Even though it's an individual sport, you need others to make yourself better.
I read one of your previous interviews where you said that your former coach helped you pursue your dreams. How do you help your fighters pursue their dreams?
Well, I try to know a little bit about them, what motivates them, and basically all their dreams are all the same. Once they come here, I know because they want to be the best fighter in the world. They're inspired for that. So that's really easy. It's just tell them the honest truth that what they need to do to get there. And I give them a hard time. I don't placate them. I don't. I'm not their fan. I'm not trying to be their friend. I'm trying to be their coach. And these are the things you have to do to be good. If you don't want to do that, you might as well leave, because I'm not the kind of guy that's going to be nice to you about it. I don't want them to like me. I always tell them I just want them to win. And I think it's played out that way. They understand that at the end of the day, if they become better fighters and better people, which is probably more important, then I'm happy, and they'll be happy as well.
Yeah, amazing. You've been in many matches. I know you have tons of fighters and so on, but can you maybe pinpoint to the most stressful matches you've attended as a coach?
Oh, you know what? So Holly Holm is she's been with me from day one, and so just about any kind of Holly Holm fight is always very stressful for me. Jon Jones' first world title fight was very stressful. Rashad Evans fighting Chuck Liddell was very stressful. In that I had a game plan that I told Rashad he'd knock him out with an overhand, and it worked out. But boy, I would have felt stupid if that didn't happen. So sometimes you put yourself in a box where you tell a fighter they have to do these things, which is sometimes not what they normally do. And I'm real blessed that it's worked out almost always. That's always stressful because you're always worried about if you made that wrong decision. But when you get that personal attachment with somebody like Holly Holm that I have with Holly, those are always the most stressful for me.
Yeah. So, which was the greatest moment of your career? I know it's very hard to pinpoint one, but many fighters won UFC titles and so on. But can you pinpoint at least 3, 4, 5? I know it's very hard to pinpoint one.
There's no doubt Holly Holm knocking out Ronda Rousey was the number one. So that's number one for me. She shocked the world, and she's very important to me because she's pretty close. We don't hang out as friends, but being a coach of hers for so many years, we're very tight that way. So that for sure was number one. Rashad Evans knocking out Chuck Liddell is up there as one of the best ones. Keith Jardine beating Chuck Liddell as another one, big one for me. Jon Jones beating Shogun, his first world title, that was huge. Quite a few of Jon Jones' fights have been real big because Machida, that was a scary fight. When we were fighting Machida, I was real scared of Machida's counterpunching ability, and Jon almost fell into the trap there a few times, but became victorious. He changed up in the middle of the fight. So those are probably the biggest ones I can think of off the top of my head.
Oh yeah, definitely. So being through this for many many years, it's kind of hard, you know. And on your Instagram profile, I saw one guy. His opponent was fishing for a rare naked choke, and he was doing such attacks. Who is that guy?
His name is Steve Garcia. He could not get out of that body triangle for the life of him. And so, but I'd never seen that before. He outstruck the guy back. It was crazy. He wasn't going to win the fight that way, but I know he inspired the fans, and he made people think a little bit about a new way to strike. I mean, he was hitting them with double punches over his head, and it was kind of exciting to watch. Steve Garcia, it was a last minute fight in the UFC. He fought out of his weight division, but he'll go back to his weight division and be undefeated. Just mark my word.
Yeah, definitely. I watched this sport since 1993, and I've never seen such strikes. So, got to say, I was also impressed. That's why I asked you. Would you like to add something? Maybe add something we missed, or?
Oh, no. I just I love my job. I'm glad to be here. I'd love to have other people come in. At the facility, we're here, Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's high altitude. It's a great place to train. We invite people from around the world. I got people here living in the gym from Mongolia, from India, from Dagestan, from Russia. I got people here from everywhere, and they all come together. And what's the most inspiring for me is I can look down the mat and I see a Christian getting beat up by a Muslim. I see a Muslim beating a Buddhist. I see a Buddhist beating up a white guy. I see a black guy choking out a Mexican. And afterwards, they all give each other a hug and they go have lunch together. And I think it's something the whole world needs to see, that we're all the same, that everybody cares about their families and living their dreams, and they're willing to help each other. And I think the whole world needs to see that, instead of not liking each other because they're different. So that's, I think, the biggest part of our gym that I'm blessed to be here.
I agree. Nobody has ever told that. So yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I'm also trying to prove such things in my state, but it's kind of hard to prove it. About this video, I will probably post it in a few hours, maybe in 7-8 hours. We'll see to make it, and I will probably post it. We'll send you link.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Thank you for accepting this, Mike. Have a great day.
That's meeting you.